Hello and welcome to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Mo and this is my channel FPL Inkling. Today I'm going to be bringing you some content around the best budget defenders listed at £4.5 million max in price for the Fantasy Premier League game 2021-2022 season at the moment. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through my top 5 defenders. We're going to look through their stats from last season. We're going to look at their fixtures, how they started off. We're also going to look at something called a points per game. So basically what the average points per that player for last season was and how I think that whether they can do better, stay the same, or potentially I think they can decline moving forward. So we're going to go through all those information, so stay tuned and let's give you all the best insight to those budget defenders, because I know it is vital to make sure we spread our funds equally across our team, because we like to have those premium players, we like to have those mid-range players, and it's also nice to have those kind of budget players as well now who can play in the team to balance out the squad and the funds, who actually can be on the bench to ensure that if any player for whatever reason is not playing, rotated or kind of rested, then at least you've got someone who can come on and get you some decent points. So this is why this video is vital. So let's go through those decisions of these 4.5 million defenders. So at number 5, we're going to go through Ben White. So at the moment, he is currently listed as a Brighton player. Yes, I am aware that he's potentially lined up to go to Arsenal, but the deal hasn't gone through as of yet. So at the moment, he is a Brighton player. So we're going to discuss him as a Brighton player and how it's looking for the first 5 game weeks of this season. So what measure we'll use in terms of difficulty within these videos, we're going to use the first 5 game weeks. So how it makes them even more attractive to include in their squads, or actually, it might just be the fact that they haven't got an ideal start. We can look at them potentially later on as the game or the season progresses. So at the moment, he's owned by a respectively 10.7% of managers. Now, are they keeping in mind the fact that he could go to Arsenal? It's a good price. Now, for me personally, if he does go to Arsenal, for me, I'm definitely going to look to get him in, because if he's only 4.5 and he's going to be playing pretty much week in, week out for Arsenal, yes, they may not be defensively the best of team, but why not? That's pretty much, for me, a nailed-on player who's going to be playing at a respectable club, and I reckon we can get some good points out of that as well. Not to say at Brighton he can't. I just think that at the moment at Brighton there are alternative options, which we'll go through in this video, and I don't really want to triple up on Brighton in terms of a defensive aspect, because we've already discussed Sanchez in terms of a budget goalkeeper, and there's other players I'm going to discuss in this video, but Ben White's going to be one of them, and I'll tell you the reason why at Brighton he's not kind of someone who I'm looking at the moment. 4.5 mil in price, 104 points last season. So respectively per game, points per game last season, he got 2.94, which is quite impressive. He didn't get any goals or any assists. In terms of clean sheets, he got 12. And in bonus points, he got 5 bonus points last season. So in terms of fixtures for him, Burnley away in game week 1, Watford at home in game week 2. Game week 3 is a bit more tough. They're playing at Goodison against Everton, and then they're playing Brentford away, and then a difficult game at home against Leicester in game week 5. So not too much of a difficult start. A few difficult games there in terms of Everton and Leicester. But generally, White, if you're looking for a cheap option, Ben White is not a bad choice at number 5. At number 4, from the same team, I'm picking Tariq Lamptey. So this is why I was saying that White at the moment at Brighton doesn't seem that much of someone who kind of stands out for me, or an option that I'd consider, because at the moment I'm looking at Sanchez as a goalkeeper and Tariq Lamptey as the 4.5 mil defender. So he's selected by almost 20% of managers nearly, guys. 35 points last season, so he was injury hit, so only played around 887 minutes. 1 goal with 3 assists, and he got 2 bonus points, guys. His points per game for whatever time he played was 3.55, which is pretty impressive. And I think, given the time this season, and if he gets the opportunity to play a longer period, I reckon he can not only just sustain that, I reckon he can better that. I reckon he can probably hit closer to around 3.8, maybe even 4 points per game. It's yet to be seen. Obviously, the clean sheets play a big part. In terms of a goal threat, he likes going down the wings, he likes to cross the ball in, he likes to take a shot on. He's not afraid at all, and you know what? He's an absolutely exciting prospect. And we've already gone through the fixtures for Brighton when I was discussing Ben White, so you can see that he's got some really good fixtures, and maybe it might be a chance for you to score big from him in terms of not only clean sheets perspective, but he might get you a goal return. And as someone as a budget defender listed at 4.5 mil, that's what makes him so much more attractive. The reason why I've not put him down as number 1 or 2, because of the lack of minutes last season, we didn't really get much to see off him, but he's in my top 5 in terms of as a budget defender. At number 3, we're going for Rob Holding. So he was pretty much nailed on to play for Arsenal at the end of the season last season. So he played a respective 2,557 minutes, 1 assist, 11 clean sheets. He got 105 points and is already owned by around 4.5% of managers already. And points per game last season, he got 4.19. Now for a manager, having a player like him at 4.5 mil in there, he's pretty much almost going to play, in terms of like the end of the season, he was playing pretty much every game for Arsenal. He's actually a real good budget option to have in your squad. Obviously, if Ben White, as we discussed earlier in this video, decides to transfer over from Brighton to Arsenal, then maybe Rob Holding's position might be compromised. It's yet to be seen. Obviously, David Luiz, they're saying may move on as well, so we're not sure. It might be a Rob Holding / Ben White partnership. Still wait to see how it goes, but he's got some impressive figures from last season, guys, and I would not be surprised if he does replicate them. So that's why he comes in at number 3 in this budget of defenders list. And number 2 is Wesley Fofana. Already selected by 27% of managers respectively, so the highest owned defender at the moment of the list I'm showing you. 71 points last season. Again, he comes in the budget price of 4.5 mil. 1 assist with 7 clean sheets and 5 bonus points. Now, points per game, last season he averaged 2.82, which may not seem as high as the other players that I've just gone through with you guys, but I think he's going to get more of a chance this season. With Leicester, I think Brendan Rodgers will have more of a role for him. Obviously, with James Justin being injured at the moment, and they had quite a few injuries last season defensively all over, so they lost pretty much their whole back line at one point. I think they'll be more settled this season. He'll have more of a clear role, and he's got some experience behind him. So I think that in terms of numbers or points per game will definitely improve. So that's why he's pretty much almost in every other draft I make. He's a popular choice within managers so far, and I think he'll be worth the investment to have. Even if he's not in your starting lineup, maybe you've got him on your bench. At least you've got someone from a player with decent ability, a good FPL return for the price they're worth, and they play at a club like Leicester where they will be given a chance and they will play well week in, week out over a 38-game period. At number 1, we've got Conor Coady from Wolves, the captain, selected by 8.2% of managers currently, 4.5 mil, which makes him a budget option. 106 points last season with 7 bonus points, 10 clean sheets. Pretty much played every single game, and his average per game was 2.88. Now, if you compare that to the season before, he got 118, which was like his highest scoring season. I think he's probably going to average around the 90 to 120 point mark. I think with a new manager after Nuno leaving, how's the team going to fare up? Are they going to have the same defensive ability? With Doherty leaving a couple of seasons ago, and Jota leaving in the midfield, it kind of hampered them, and Jimenez being out for such a long period with his brain hemorrhage really did kind of like affect Wolves badly last season. But will they get new signings in? Will the new manager bring a new defensive kind of like mindset for these team players? It's yet to be seen, guys. So that's why, in terms of my options, I've had him in one of my drafts when I made it originally, because I think he is that much of a good defender that you can't really ignore him. Plus, if you're going to put him as a budget option, he was the highest scoring defender from the 4.5 mil listed defenders this season from last season. But if you look at him from a budget option, if you're not going to be playing him and he's on your bench, at least you've got a nailed-on defender, potentially with a clean sheet, that can get it, will be on your bench. So if you don't have a player who plays that week, you've got a solid, potential 6 points that he can get. I'm not going to say he can get a clean sheet every game, but he's got 10 out of 38, as you can see there. It's a really good chance for you to get some points off the bench where others may struggle and they haven't invested the funds in a decent returning defender like him, and they've just gone for a 4 mil defender who's probably not going to play any minutes, barring like a couple of minutes here and there over the season. That's what makes Coady so for me, such a good prospect. So at the moment, it's there's 3 defenders I'm looking at, and there's 2 spots for it. You've got Conor Coady for me, Fofana and Tariq Lamptey. There's 2 spots for me who need to fill those, so it'd be worth to see. It might even just be 1 spot, but these are the 3 out of the 5 that I listed today that I'm clearly looking at the moment. But they're all good in their own respects, in their own regards, so I'm not going to disregard any of them. But it's down to you which you feel kind of suits your style of management and who you believe is going to get you the best returns over the course of the season. So that's my video on the budget defenders, guys, for this season. Let me know your thoughts. Drop me a comment on the video. If you've liked this video, all you got to do is give it that thumbs up icon. If If you haven't subscribed yet, guys, just take a moment, hit that lovely subscribe button, help my channel grow and be part of the FPL Inklink family. If you want to join the FPL Inklink League, it's very simple, guys. You see the code on the bottom left, just got to type that in on the FPL Inklink, to join the FPL Inklink League on FPL website, under join the league, put that code in and you'll be part of the league itself. Let me know if I can help you with anything, if there's anything that I've discussed today, any player that I haven't identified for you, drop me a shout, let me know on my social media, which is listed below as well. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you guys soon with some more content.